Hooper's Confession. Every Hooper has a story.
Maryland was a great school. I mean, I learned a lot, became a better man, but I don't think because the way I picked my choice, like I just go to Maryland, not really knowing much about the coaches and the history of the school. Like I wasn't even there when the head coach came to visit my parents. So I just didn't really know much about it. All I knew was Maryland was a good school. The team looked great. It was a good atmosphere. And I just like, you know what? I just go to Maryland. But my experience at Maryland, it was very rocky. It was a very tough time for me as well because, my freshman year, I understand I didn't play as much, but I understand you're a freshman, you're learning the ropes. And then my sophomore year, I got a little bit better and I'm expecting to play more, but it was still an up and down year for me. So then I was going to say, hey, I'm going to transfer. I'm actually going to go to Pittsburgh this time. But then we got a new coach. So I was like, okay, maybe this is a fresh start for me. So as a new coach, when he came in, we only had 6 players on scholarships. And so we ended up having, I think, 3 or 4 walk-ons playing on the team. So that was the most I ever played in my college career was my junior year. And I think in about 22 minutes, I averaged close to 9 points and 5 rebounds. I was like leading second and third in ACC in offensive rebound. So it was a good year for me going forward. So now I'm excited for my senior year coming up. I'm like, okay. And even like the people, the agents and everybody who was just kind of showing interest in me, they was all excited to see what my senior year was going to be like because they was like, hey, I was at 9-5. I can jump to 14-7 if I play more your senior. You go to 30 minutes a game. But, at the beginning of the year, I was starting. And then things, as the season came around, the coach decided like, hey, I'm going to start the young guys and just, give them a chance, get them confidence and get them going. So I was okay with that, doing what's best for the team. As the time went by, I started playing less and less. And then I asked about it and they just said, be ready and, never know what's your turn. But I already was waiting 3 years for my turn to come. Now my turn is here. I was expecting to play a lot more. I think at the end of the year, I probably averaged like 15, 12 minutes a game. And it was a very disappointing ending to my career at Maryland because, I spent 4 years there. I was waiting for the senior year to come, just the opportunity to play and showcase my talent. Even though every year I got better, I just think that, basketball in college is a business. Coaches are trying to win and also keep their jobs. And sometimes players get lost in the system because, he brought in his recruiting class and he wanted to keep those players happy. Overall, Maryland experience was very up and down. I don't regret going there, but I also think that probably wasn't my best basketball choice as far as picking schools. We had our exit meetings, and I remember sitting across from a coach, and he actually asked me that I wanted to play basketball after college. And I was kind of shocked, kind of felt like I was being disrespected because I don't think any kid plays basketball his whole life, go to college playing basketball, and decide like they don't want to play basketball anymore. But when I said I did, they tried to help me figure out which way to go. But I decided to do everything on my own going forward, just finding an agent and see what goes from there. I didn't really know what was next, but I found a guy that a couple of my teammates has used, and he helped me get get overseas, helped me get my foot in the door. Playing overseas is very, very, very different than playing in the States. You got to remember, you're away from home, you're in a whole different time zone, and there's a lot of pressure on foreigners coming over there. I mean, my rookie year, I was on a team in Finland. The first 6 games, we lost all 6 games, but I wasn't playing horrible, but I wasn't playing great. I think I was averaging 13 points and 10 rebounds. And they came one day after practice. It was like, hey, it's not nothing that you're doing wrong, but we think we need to go in a different direction to fit someone who plays our style of play. So I got cut, but luckily the same day, someone on another team got hurt. I think he tore his ACL, and I ended up replacing him. I finished my season there, but it was tough. That whole situation was tough. It was like we had 3 of us in one apartment. We had one car. The windshield was broken inside and outside, and Finland get cold, so it snows the whole time. So when it's snowing, the windows is frozen on inside and out. Sometimes we had to drive with the window down when it's freezing cold, with the door open sometimes. But playing overseas is difficult. I think we were 6-36 that season, and we didn't even make the playoffs. So as a rookie, it was tough for me. But I was able to, do a good enough job to get some numbers to get another job, which would let me to go play to Japan. Now, the first couple of weeks I was playing well, and then I got hurt with my adductor like the second or third week in the season. And then, I went and got a X-ray. And they was like, oh yeah, it's fine, it's nothing, it's just a little bit of damage, a little bit of strain, and then you'll be able to play. So I was playing hurt on it from October to December, and it was getting worse. It was so bad to the touch. So then it came around Christmas time. I said, hey, my injury is still hurting. Can I go get an MRI? We went up getting an MRI, and it was like it's more scar tissue than before. So I asked to say, hey, I need some time to rest. It was like, okay, now it's Christmas time. We were off 7 days. We gave you 7 days of rest. I was like, if I need more than 7 days, so what about that? It was like, if you need more than 7 days, then we have to get somebody to replace you. So everything was going normal, and then I got a knock on my door on the day before New Year's, like, hey, you have to move out on Wednesday. I was like, move out on Wednesday? They was like, yeah, they didn't tell you your contract is cut. We got someone coming in on Thursday. And I called my agent. I was like, hey, what happened? They told me I got to leave on Wednesday. I was like, leave on Wednesday? Hold on, let me call you back. He was like, yeah, they said you breached contract because you refused to play, and the doctor said you can play. I'm like, but I'm hurting, like I can't move. I'm not playing well because I can't move. So I ended up getting cut in the beginning of January, and then I was sitting home from January into November. And then November, I got a job playing in the third league France. Season came, we played first 6 games, we lost again. It was 0-6. The team came to me, was like, hey, we don't know what we want to do as far as the team being finalized. We want to bring someone else in, but while you're there, we're going to cut your money in half and give it to them. I'm like, that's kind of strange. How you going to cut my money in half? But my agent told me to agree to it, so I agreed to it. And now week 1 go by, week 2 go by, week 3 go by, and no one comes. So, but I was like, okay, I want all my money. If I don't get all my money, I want you guys to send me home. They were like, yeah, but you agreed to taking only half of the money, so we're only going to give you half. I was like, okay, God, you guys can send me home. I don't want to be here anymore. My agent told me to wait until we got him another job, but I didn't really want to be in this situation anymore because I wasn't happy. So when I got home that November, my agent didn't speak to me anymore, and I didn't have an agent for the whole year, so I was out of a job. So then I was like, okay, maybe basketball's not for me. Stopped playing basketball. I got 2 jobs, working at Men's Warehouse and then working in the school. And then after about 6 months, I was like, man, I'd rather play basketball because although overseas is very unstable, I'd rather be playing basketball than waking up 9 o'clock to go sit in the school, then go sitting in the office desk. I was trying to get back to playing, and no one was very interested. They said my highlights look great, but you haven't played in 2 years. But it was one coach in Australia. He gave me a chance. I call him Big Sam. And, I had a great season out there. And I averaged about 23 points and 13 rebounds. And, one of my good friends knew someone who knew an agent, Savag. And while I was like the last 2 weeks in the season, Savag asked me, hey, do you still have highlights and game film? And I sent it to him. And while I was still playing, he got me a job to go play in Switzerland 2 weeks after the season was over. So Australia, rejuvenated me and gave me energy back to playing overseas. And Savard gave me the opportunity. And then when I got to Switzerland, I think that was my overall best season I had. I averaged 20 points, 9 rebounds. I was forward of the year, first team all-league. I got player of the week several times. My team made it to both cups, and we lost in the semifinals to one of the teams with the biggest budget. And then, so I would say that was one of the highs of my career. The lows was some of the stuff I talk about, like me playing in Finland, me getting cut, then me going to Japan and getting hurt and then getting cut, and then me going to France and not liking it, and to say, hey, man, I'm done with this. So I think those are some of the highs and some of the lows of me playing overseas. You guys may not know about me is although I'm always even killing games, I'm very passionate about the game. I love the game of basketball. I care about it. I'm very professional. So maybe a lot of people don't see me getting excited or yelling and screaming during games, but inside of me, it's a fire that's burning as well. It just keeps me calm. Something inspirational to kids, no matter what are you ever going through, you have to stay focused and continue to grind hard and be ready for whatever situation you come through. I was hurt, I was injured, I was down, no one believed in me, and when the opportunity came, when the coach said, hey, we want you to come play for us, I was ready, I performed. Sometimes you have to play it right to order to succeed. There's been a lot of things that happened in my career that was against me, but because I wanted to be professional, that I had to always do what's best for the whole situation and not just me.
What is your hooper story? Share and inspire.